I'd been married for a couple years and just was ready for this new chapter and to start a family. And yeah, took the test and it came out positive. So we were just so excited.
I was an early physician and we knew we wanted to have a baby, and things worked out really well. And so we said, let's see if we can get pregnant this week, and the next week we did.
And I had always wanted my sister to move to Santa Barbara because we grew up together in Georgia. And I had always told her, I said, well, as soon as you move to Santa Barbara, that's when I'll get pregnant and have a baby, because then I'll have you here to help me. And sure enough, I found out that Monday that I was pregnant, that very first Monday she was here.
I was very excited to find out I was pregnant in each pregnancy. Ow. They were very well planned, and it took a long time to conceive them both. So when it finally happened, so overjoyed.
It was April. It was exciting. And
it was from a pregnancy test at home.
Yeah. And it was also terrifying because by that time I was 40, and there's a lot of generalizations about women over a certain age.
Well, when I was pregnant with Nivea, it was a surprise. We didn't, because we did not really plan to have our first baby yet, but she came, so it was a blessing.
And then Sadie's story is different because we tried again to get pregnant and we were unsuccessful. And so we decided that we would consider adoption. And we were working with a lawyer in Los Angeles, and he matched us with a birth mother. The first one didn't work out, but very soon after that we were matched with a new mother. And we knew roughly when the baby was going to be due, but we didn't know exactly.
So when I got pregnant with John Rayo, it was planned. So we were expecting him soon, that we're going to be having him. But Paul wanted a boy, and we had a boy. So it's an answered prayer. And here is Jayo after 6 years.
So I found out I was going to be a grandma, and I was very anxious because Jet's dad, my son, is a young father. He was 21, and so I was very anxious because I know how hard it is to have kids and raise them, and he was still growing up himself, I felt. So at first I had a lot of mixed, anxious feelings. And then when I saw Courtney, Jet's mom, and Jet was in her womb and he was 7 months there, I immediately fell in love. And all the anxiousness kind of went away, and because it was real. And I figured God's plan is bigger than mine, and we're gonna have a baby.
I remember going on a long walk, just to get some exercise. Came home and ate some lunch, and then I sat down, and then my water broke.
And we went to the hospital and just so excited because it was our first child and we were going to be new parents, and really had no idea what to expect. And
But you weren't going to be new parents.
Sure, because he was our first baby. I was talking about when Andrew was born. But I mean, I'm sure every parent feels the same thing, just that excitement and anticipation and not even sure what the journey's going to bring.
More of like a mental preparedness. I had 2 planned C-sections, so I had to really psych myself up for those.
And then when Sadie was born, too, we also didn't quite know all what to expect because she was being adopted. We were hopeful that everything would go well, but knowing that adoptions don't always work, that we don't always, you don't always get to keep the baby, and there could be disappointment. And so we were excited but guarded as we were driving to Arizona. And so it was an 8-hour drive on the way to Arizona, and I felt like we couldn't drive fast enough to get to Arizona. And my husband had to keep reminding me that they aren't going to give her away and that it's okay that we'll just take our time and be safe. And then the whole way there, my sister asked what we were going to name her. And I said, oh, that's true. I don't know. And so I printed out the top 10,000 girls' names and read them alphabetically to my husband for the 8-hour drive. Like 2 hours into it, he just kept saying, how about Sadie? How about Sadie? How about Sadie? Mm-hmm.
I'm so annoyed you didn't bring me.
Oh, honey, you were little and we weren't sure how things were going to work out. We didn't want you to meet her and then be disappointed if things didn't work. There was no guarantee that we'd be able to keep her.
That's not true.
It's true, honey.
Oh.
There was just going to be a...
Here now.
Yes. I know you were sad you couldn't come with us.
I cried both times my sons were put in my arms.
So you remember that moment where you lock eyes right after they're born and you just feel this immediate connection with them, and it's an experience you can't really describe. It's an emotion, you feel it, this connection of love that, they're looking for you and they know that you're their mom and that they need you.
Oh wow, experience at birth, like that was really unexpected. You don't know what to expect. It was really hard. With Nivea, it took me 26 hours to labor.
We went to the hospital and the baby just wasn't coming until the next morning. And a little bit before 6 in the morning, Clara was delivered. And that was a Sunday morning, and I forget who all we told first. I believe your mom was staying with us at that point.
Mom was there.
Yeah, she was
How
in
could
the hospital.
How could you possibly forget that my mother was there the whole time?
Besides sleep deprivation.
So, the first time I held Andrew, I ended up having a C-section, and so it was hours until I got to be with them. And I just remember kept saying, can I hold my baby? Where's my baby? Can I see my baby? And the pediatrician saw him, and so many people saw him before I did. But yeah, when I first had him in my arms, it's so remarkable because you can feel your child in you, and you feel them moving around and you connect with them. And then now that they're outside, it's that's where he was. He was in my tummy. And then when they're outside and you see their face, and it's interesting, they're still connected to you. They're not inside of you, but you do feel very connected to your children.
But because Clara was born as a C-section, it meant that in the way our society and the way our medical system works right now, Eliza had to be born by a C-section. And so Eliza's birth was scheduled. It was kind of orderly in that way. We knew what day we were going to go in. Didn't make it any easier to take, but if there's one takeaway I have from these experiences is that it's not about the birth, really. It's about what comes after the birth.
He did not, he was late, a week after his due date, but after that, they induced me 2 hours later, he came out right away. So that was like, I think, unforgettable experience for a woman to have.
Showed up at the hospital on time. And then you were there pretty shortly after we arrived. It was pretty quick. But the thing that was interesting was you were laying there on me and you made this sweet little sound. It was like you were singing. And I remember saying, oh my gosh, it's like she's singing. I saw the doctor and nurse look at each other kind of side-eyed, and it made me nervous because it wasn't a happy, affirming look that they gave each other. And I thought, what was that? And the doctor said, I just don't want you to be nervous, but it's about that singing she's doing. We're going to take her to the ICU and make sure that her lungs are clear. And they swept you away from me really quickly. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was so nervous. I was a brand new mom and you were my precious baby. And I've been waiting so long for you to be in my arms. And you were so warm and beautiful and lovely, making that sweet little singing song. And then you were gone. Can you do me a favor, kiddo, and put your face in the camera?
No.
And I mean, when we got Sadie, it was just kind of unbelievable that we drove 8 hours and now we had a baby. So it was a different feeling. But again, I was more guarded because I wasn't sure if she felt mine. So I felt a responsibility to take good care of her. But it was a little harder at first to feel connected. And I remember it was a week later that I finally kissed her and realized, like, she's mine. Sorry. But anyways, that's our story.
And then eventually the doctor said, it's feeding time, and would you like to have your daughter?
And Tara, do you remember what you thought and what you felt when she was put in your arms the first time?
Grateful. Yeah. Silly girl.
Yeah.
And then the moment I held him, it didn't matter what was in store. Life was going to be amazing with this little guy. And the joy and the blessings I feel for him are just, you can't put them into words. You love your child. I love my son with all my heart, but then to hold his son is just the most precious thing.
I looked down at him and it was the most familiar feeling I've ever had. It was like this soul has always been with me and always will be with me. It was the most complete feeling I've ever had.
Being surrounded by family was really important for me. It was something new that I'd never experienced before.
And it's made me really think lately about what was Jesus's grandma like? Like, what role did she play in his life? And we don't hear a lot about her in the Bible. And her name was Hannah or Anna. But I'd like to think she had a pretty powerful role in just being grandma to him.
Having Pastor Allen there, he's been there every time I've been in the hospital for anything, and it's nice to have that support and a prayer and have that comforting feeling before a big moment in your life.
And we were just surrounded by so much love and so much just our church family, our friends, and it's just the most complete feeling. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment in time.
Do you remember about the first time you met her?
Not that much, but mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was like when she was little?
Yeah.
What are some of the things you remember?
Well, she definitely was awake a lot more than I expected. But once she was asleep, she was super cute.
We gathered around Courtney's hospital bed and passed the baby along, and we shared stories. Courtney's mom is Tammy. Tammy and I shared stories about when Hayden and Courtney were born and the babies and their temperament that they had and little things they did and who did he look like and look at those toes and whose eyes are those. Quarantine and being not able to come into sanctuary has really hit me hard. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed seeing and touching and hugging, yeah, and playing with the Sunday school kids.
I feel much more in the spirit when we are actually together.
Also was going through some challenging times with Hayden and the little guy moving in, and I missed my church family for just reassurance and pat on the back or, hey, I can help you out. And you get that in fellowship time. You get that walking through the hallway. You get that standing out under the redwoods. And I feel as close, and my faith and Christianity is not wavered or at all, but I miss my Christian brothers and sisters so much and the children. So I'm anxiously waiting to get back where we can at least be together, and that's been really challenging, just not seeing and touching people.
I just hope that we all come out of this and we're not fearful. I mean, if we have faith and we have love, we know that everything's going to be fine. And in these moments of contrast and in these moments of trials, it's we put out new desires, and it just sharpens our focus on what we want and what we need.
I think we'll appreciate, gathering more with friends and family when it's safe to do so, and just really appreciating life. And I think we've also done a lot more things outdoors, getting close to nature and seeing beauty where we can.
For me, it's the communion with nature, just being in the quiet. That is really the way to connect with God.
We will be going outside more. We will be talking to each other more because we will be missing those things we used to do and noticing, you know, if I didn't do this before COVID, I wasn't able to do it at COVID, why can't I do it now?
I think we don't know what we're going to be handed, and everything that's happened with Jet entering our lives has been a true blessing and reminder that God's will and His plan are so much greater than mine, and it's made me stop and pause and just enjoy the moment. And Him sitting here or teething or pulling plants apart, it's just a gentle reminder that His will, not mine.
Because, you know, when you were reborn, it's not the same with what you were doing before. It changes your life. It changes like your ideas and your opinions in life. You will become more open because, you know, your heart is more kind of like the compassion is there, and of course with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, it enlightens your life in general.